محمد وآل محمد صلوات. علی علی مولا علی یا علی یا علی 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 مولا علی یا علی مولا 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 علی ولی اللہ علی علی مولا علی یا علی سرکار علمدار دو عالم کا مددگار
حیدر کرار حیدر کرار
سرکار علمدار دو عالم کا مددگار
حیدر کرار حیدر کرار
پیروں میں میرا پیر زبردست ہے سرکار
حیدر کرار حیدر کرار
مولا مولا مولا
علی ولی اللہ
مولا مولا مولا
علی ولی اللہ
سرکار علمدار دو عالم کا مددگار
حیدر کرار حیدر کرار
پیروں میں میرا پیر زبردست ہے سرکار
حیدر کرار حیدر کرار
شاہوں سے بھی اعلیٰ ہے تیرے در کے گداگر کرتے ہیں غلامی تیری دنیا کی سکندر اعلیٰ ہے امیروں سے فقیروں کے مقدر جنت کے ہے تاجر تیری دہلیز کے نوکر نعرہ حیدری مولا نعرہ خیبری مولا نعرہ صفدری مولا نعرہ قمبری مولا میسم نے لگایا ہے یہی نعرہ سردار
حیدر کرار حیدر کرار
سرکار علمدار دو عالم کا مددگار
حیدر کرار
علی
حیدر کرار
پیروں میں میرا پیر زبردست ہے سرکار
حیدر کرار حیدر کرار
مولا مولا مولا
علی ولی اللہ
ارے مولا مولا مولا
علی ولی اللہ
اللہ کا انمول جو شہکار بنا ہے اسلام کا آلہ جو علمدار بنا ہے مشکل میں جو نبیوں کا مددگار بنا ہے وہ سارے اماموں کا جو سردار بنا ہے کل ایمان ہے مولا دین کی شان ہے مولا شاہ مردان ہے مولا شیر یزدان ہے مولا کہتے ہیں نبی اپنا جسے وارث دستار
حیدر کرار حیدر کرار
سرکار علمدار دو عالم کا مددگار
حیدر کرار حیدر کرار
پیروں میں میرا پیر زبردست ہے سرکار
حیدر کرار حیدر کرار
مولا مولا مولا
علی ولی اللہ
مولا مولا مولا
علی ولی اللہ
سادات کی پرعزم قیادت میں علی ہے شبیر کے انداز عبادت میں علی ہے سجاد کی زینب کی خطابت میں علی ہے عباس کے پرچم کی جلالت میں علی ہے علی اصغر میں بھی مولا علی اکبر میں بھی مولا آل اطہر میں بھی مولا ہاں 72 میں بھی مولا ہے پاک گھرانہ تیرا اسلام کا مہمان
حیدر کرار حیدر کرار
سرکار علمدار دو عالم کا مددگار
حیدر کرار حیدر کرار
پیروں میں میرا پیر زبردست ہے سرکار
حیدر کرار حیدر کرار
Mola, Mola, Mola.
Ali Wallah.
Mola, Mola, Mola.
Ali Wallah.
सरकार ये सब आपकी ज़ौजा की दुआ है, घर घर में जो ये मातम में सादात बपा है, हर दिल तेरे बच्चों के अज़ा खाना बना है, आंखें है नजफ दिल में बसी करबो बला है, हम अज़ादार है मौला, हम वफादार है मौला, तेरे गम ख्वार है मौला, आप सरदार है मौला, सरकार बना लीजिए अपना हमें ज़व्वार।
हैदर करार, हैदर करार,
सरकार अलमदार दो आलम का मददगार।
हैदर करार, हैदर करार,
पीरों में मेरा पीर जबरदस्त है सरकार।
हैदर करार, हैदर करार,
मौला मौला मौला,
Ali Wallah.
मौला मौला मौला।
Ali Wallah.
मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सलवात। Ya Ali. Brothers and sisters, with a loud salawat, we welcome Shaikh Abbas. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, salawat.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen, khatamin nabiyyin, shafi'il mudhnibin, rahmatan lil alameen, maulana wa sayyidina abil qasim Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرض أرواحنا له الفداء وعجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد, respected elders, brothers and sisters, tonight is the most momentous night in the Islamic calendar. In Islam, we have 12 months and 11 months are all in preparation for this month, which is the month of Ramadan. Then within the month of Ramadan, we have the Laylatul Qadr, which is the heart of the month of Ramadan. It is the beating pulse of the month of Ramadan. We have 3 nights that we typically commemorate or mark as Laylatul Qadr. Tonight is the first. After 2 nights, it will be the second, 21st night, and then on the 23rd night. These 3 nights are very, very important. How many Laylatul Qadrs do we have? We only have 1 Laylatul Qadr. But each of these has a significance. In a hadith from Imam Jaffer Sadiq alayhi salam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, he says that each of these nights plays a role. In his terminology, he says the night of the 19th is the night of the taqdeer of Allah. That means taqdeer here doesn't mean maybe what we understand in Urdu and Gujarati, that it is the night of destiny. No, Qadr actually, it means the amounts and proportions of something. In other words, the amounts and proportions of the year ahead are being planned. Laylatul Qadr, one of the meanings of Qadr is the amounts and proportions. How long will you live? What will you do? What will you earn? What will you make? Etc. etc. This is known as Qadr or Taqdeer. So night of the 19th is the night of Taqdeer. Then the night of 21st is, according to the 6th Imam, the night of Ibram. Meaning that, okay, this is a plan on the 21st, the plan is confirmed. And then on the night of the 23rd, Imam says this is the night of Imdha. Imdha means sign off. It gets signed off, it gets approved. In other words, all of these nights are significant. We shouldn't like say, okay, I'm saving myself for the 23rd, because the 23rd actually has more kind of significance to it. So all of these nights deserve their own level of attention and respect. Tonight what I want to discuss, linking it to Laylatul Qadr and then linking it to, of course, the events regarding Amirul Mu'mineen, where he is struck on this night. Hence we call this night Shab-e-Zarbat, the night of Zarbat. Zarbat is the striking of the sword. We are going to link all these with one common theme, and that is the theme of time. In Islam, we have a very different concept of time. So if I was to ask just a regular person who doesn't know about these things, who looks at things in a non-spiritual way about time, what is the difference between 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10, 10:15, 11? There's not really much difference. It's a period of time. There's a difference of 15 minutes, 45 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, whatever it is. There's no difference. What is the difference between morning and afternoon? Well, there's no difference. Maybe the sun is higher and it's warmer in the afternoon. There's not much difference otherwise. However, in Islam, no. In Islam, we have a different view of time. Time in Islam is very, very important. Tonight, we're going to look at some of the aspects of time. I want to ask you a question first of all. In this holy month, we have a number of du'as that we recite. So we recite some du'as every night, such as Du'a Iftitah. Du'a Iftitah is the du'a that has been given to us written by whom? Does anyone know? Du'a Iftitah is written and given to us by our 12th Imam, Imam Zaman, Ajalallahu Ta'ala, Farajahu Sharif. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Then we have other du'as after namaz, for example. We recite Allahumma adkhil and Ya Aliyu Ya Azim, etc. Then we have some other du'as. Have you seen these? These probably come on your WhatsApps if you're not aware of them. These are the short daily du'as. Dua for the first day, dua for the second day, dua for the third day. So these are like 1 or 2 line du'as. Yeah? Now in this du'a of today, so the day that we have just gone past, the day of the 18th of Ramadan talks about time. Allah, we beseech Him using these words. We say, Allahumma nabbihni fihi libarakati asharihi. Very, very important line. We say, Oh Allah, on this day of this holy month, awaken me, alert me to the blessings of the time of Sahar of this month. Now what is Sahar? Sahar, when you look at the day of a 24-hour cycle, it's true, Allah's forgiveness, mercy, attention is available at all times in the day. That's no doubt about it. At any time you can be forgiven. At any time you can have your prayers answered. At any time you can beseech the Almighty. However, the special time in which there is more barakat, rahmat, maghfirat, forgiveness, attention of Allah available in this 24-hour cycle is the time of Sahar. Sahar in English usually we say the early morning or the pre-Fajr time, the pre-dawn time. But there is a formula to working out Sahar. I'm going to share that with you right now. If ever you've thought, what is this Sahar time? When is Sahar? It's so hard to determine Sahar. Very simply, you can take this formula. It is the last 6th before Fajr. So you take, for example, the timing of Maghrib and you take the timing of Fajr. That is the night. Maghrib to Fajr is the night. And if you divide that into 6, the last 6th portion is the time of Sahar. So if there's 12 hours between Maghrib and Fajr, 12 divided by 6, 2, that last 2 hours is the time of Sahar. This is the time where it really pains us because this is the time when people should not be asleep, but typically most people are asleep. But it's really the worst time to be asleep. This is the time in which Allah is looking to give His maximum amount of grace, kindness, mercy, forgiveness, answering du'as, paying attention to us, paying attention to what we are saying. And it's meant to be difficult. It's meant to be difficult. No one should say, oh yeah, Sahar is easy peasy, I can wake up for Sahar. No, we know it's difficult. It's meant to be difficult because the rewards are greater. So you have to try a bit more for this Sahar time. So in this holy month of Ramadan, In this dua especially, we are saying to Allah, Nabbihni, alert me, awaken me, put it into my head, give me this seriousness, libarakati asharihi, for the blessings of the time of Sahar. Now, what is so special about this Sahar time? This is what we're going to discuss inshallah with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. On one hand, it is difficult to worship at that time. So the more difficult something is, the more you are rewarded for it. On the other hand, our distractions are less. We don't typically work at that time. We don't typically do certain things at that time that we do at other times. So in a sense, our distractions are less, so we are more focused. In a sense, there is no one really around at that time. Maybe a few members of our family may be awake at the same time. Otherwise, no one is really there. So it's a very sincere time, because now there's no chance of showing off to anyone. There's no chance of actually showing someone what you're doing. So it's very sincere, it's very private, it's very secluded, it's very focused. But the other reason is that at Sahar time, the awliya of Allah are doing their ibadat. The special servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whoever they may be throughout the world. Whether you say it's the great scholars, whether you say it's the great pious people, whether you say it's the sincere, devoted servants of God, they reserve this time. They don't take a chance. They really, really commit themselves to being awake at this time and doing worship. Who is at the top of the list of these awliya? Who is at the absolute top of the list of all these great, great personalities doing ibadat at this time? It is our 12th Imam, Imam Zaman, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. Allahumma salli ala. So now the situation is that you are awake, I am awake at Sahar time, inshallah. May Allah give us tawfiq. We are awake at this time. And because our Imam and the awliya are doing ibadat at this time, this is a spiritual package which gets created. Allah doesn't separate our ibadat from theirs. He kind of includes it in that package of ibadat. So as He is accepting theirs, ours also gets accepted. And ours sort of gets joined onto their ibadat in a spiritual way. Someone may say, but hang on a second. We're all the way over here in LA. We're in a different time zone. The rest of the world has moved on. The rest of the world is experiencing now even daytime. It's daytime in other places. What are you talking about? No. Let's not look at it through that kind of lens. We're not talking about the physical time as such. It's the spiritual time that we're talking about. Even though Imam Zaman may be in a different part of the world, and he's already done his Sahar ibadat, but that's not important. The important is that it is still Sahar for us. It was Sahar for him. He did his ibadat, we are doing our ibadat, and it gets coupled together and it rises to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, one thing we should do in the next few nights, however much is possible. Look, I'm not here to put pressure on anyone. I'm not here to overburden anyone. But it's my duty to at least convey to you the importance of this. For the next few nights, if you can somehow alter your arrangements, alter your timings, maybe sleep a bit in a different pattern, set your alarms in a different way, do something in a different way, that your body allows you to wake up at this Sahar time, then do not miss this Sahar time. This Sahar time is very, very important. It leads to a number of things which we're going to discuss inshallah. Amirul Mu'mineen, Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam says, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. He says in his famous khutbah of the muttaqeen, the khutbah of the pious people, he says that not only Sahar time, but even night time in general. Sahar is that very, very special time. Let's say you miss Sahar time, or you're so tired one day that you can't wake up for Sahar time. At least some of the portion of the night should be spent in ibadat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In his words, he says, وَأَمَّا اللَّيْلِ, as for the night, فَصَافُونَ أَقْدَامَهُمْ, they are standing, these pious, muttaqi people, they are standing on their feet, reading portions of the Quran, reciting it in a well-measured manner, creating through it for themselves a sense of grief that they are far from Allah. In other words, it's a very special, emotional, heartfelt time to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. During the day, what is wrong with the day? Why can't we do this in the day? The day has its own issues. The day, as we know, is typically for earning our living. The Quran recognizes this. It says, that in the day, inna laka fin nahari sabhan tawila. In the day you have many, what we call in Gujarati, matakutis. You have many things on your head, you have many things taking your time, you have many things on your mind. You're busy, you're running around, you're answering calls, you're answering messages, you're holding meetings, you're driving here and there, you're stuck in traffic. In the daytime, you're full of these preoccupations. And the world has to be like this because we have to work with each other. We can't expect everyone just to devote their time into ibadat only, otherwise the world would not function. So in the daytime, we have these occupations and these times where we're so busy. But at night time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, is there someone out there willing to sacrifice a few minutes? If nothing, give me 5 of your minutes. If you can do a bit more, give me 10 of your minutes. Do a bit more, give me half an hour. Do the ultimate, give me both hours of this sahar time, if it's 2 hours, for example. Is there someone out there willing to devote this time to me? I have devoted all of my grace and my forgiveness is available at this time. Can you bring yourself to be there? In your place of ibadat, in the comfort of your home, on your musalla, for example, doing something for me, speaking to me, du'as, munajat, dua from Sahifa Sajjadiyah, or even if you don't feel like doing any of that, then how about just sitting in your own language, in any language you wish, just speaking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They say a mu'min on a daily basis should have one special moment at least with his Lord. And that is to do a sajda for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're not talking about namaz sajdas. That's a different sajda. They are very good in themselves. A sajda outside of namaz, which is slightly longer. I don't know, in namaz, how long do we spend in sajda? 2 seconds, 5 seconds? Okay, can you do a 20-second sajda? A 30-second sajda? In which you are thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in which you are asking for your forgiveness. One of the highly recommended deeds after your namazes especially is to do sajda-e-shukr, the thankfulness prostration, in which after namaz, after you've spoken to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you've done your tasbih, you've done your ta'aqib, you've done your dua, everything is done, you put your head down into that brilliant position that Allah loves, which is sujood, and you speak to Him. Here you are saying 2 main things. You should say, number 1, al-afu, meaning I'm sorry. Simply saying, even in your own language, if you can't remember al-afu, say, I am sorry. Allah, I'm sorry. I know I've not done good. I know you expected more from me, I've fallen short. Oh Allah, if I've done sins, forgive me. If I've hurt someone, you forgive me, or put it into my heart to seek forgiveness from that person. If I've not paid my dues, you forgive me. If I've done something wrong, forgive me. Al-afu. And the other one to recite, shukran. Thank you, my Lord. The fact that I'm even here with my head on the mohar in the situation of sajda, I thank you for this. You gave me tawfiq to do this. I'm such a selfish person. If it wasn't for your reminders and your grace and your guidance, I probably wouldn't even have done sujood for you. In another hadith, Imam Jaffer Sadiq alayhi salam says, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, that were it not for 3 things, people would not have even had time for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Were it not for 3 things that Allah inflicts us with, people would have even forgotten Allah completely. Number 1, al-maraz, illness, sickness. The fact that they fall sick, they feel weak. The fact that they feel weak, they know that there are external things affecting me that I'm not in charge of. I could not have warded off this illness. I could not have stopped this illness. I didn't stop this illness. I became ill and sick. Al-maraz. Number 2, al-faqr, poverty. Were it not for the fact that sometimes we go through financial difficulties, we have worries on our minds of paying the bills, that humbles us, that gives us a lesson, that tells us something, that tells us that we are not in charge. We are not just independent beings. We are dependent and attached to something greater than ourselves. And number 3, al-maut, death. The fact that we see people dying around us, whether in good circumstances or bad circumstances or whatever it may be. The fact that we see death around us. The fact that we go to Qabristan once in a while, the graveyard once in a while. The fact that we participate in the funerals of others. What is this for? This is for the sense of humility in a person. That Khudaya, there is something greater than me. I'm not in charge of my life. I recognize that. I didn't want to become sick. I got sick. Did I want poverty? I didn't want poverty, but I got poverty. Why? He's trying to tell us, you are not in charge. Remove this thought from your head that it's all you. It's not you. I have a different plan in mind for you. I have a different way of directing you. Give yourself over to me. Humble yourself. Remember me. That's all I'm seeking, is the fact that you should remember me. So the night time is very, very important. This is why we have Shab-e-Qadr or Laylatul Qadr. Inna anzalnahu fi Laylatil Qadr. It is the night of Qadr. Because night time is very special. Night time is very, very special. Inna nashi'atal layl. Quran says, indeed, the vigil of the night, nashi'atal layl, hiya ashaddu wat'an, makes a deeper impression on your soul than what you do in the daytime. In the daytime, you've got a lot of things going on. How can you pay attention to Allah properly in the daytime? We should be, but it's difficult in the night time. When you are cut off from everything else, this makes a deeper impression on your heart. Wa aqwamu qila. Your speech in that time is more powerful. You speak to Allah nicer. You speak to Him in a nicer way. You devote more time to Him. You are able to lengthen your conversation with Him. This is the power of the night. With a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now, let me discuss one of the most important activities of the night. The night time has many, many things we can do. I've mentioned a few of them already. One of them, which should not be left out, honestly, is namaz-e-shab. Namaz-e-shab is that ibadat that if you were to ask me, if I was to cut out all mustahab things and just do one, I would say, do namaz-e-shab. Namaz-e-shab is something which is so important. All of the friends of Allah, all of the awliya of Allah perform namaz-e-shab. We have a problem. We have been told, and rightly so, we have been told that the time of namaz-e-shab is when? Near to Fajr. Correct? We've always been told this, and that is true. The best time for namaz-e-shab is near to Fajr. But you do know you can even recite your namaz-e-shab after you perform Maghrib and Isha, you can recite namaz-e-shab. Rather than failing every time and telling yourself, okay, tonight I'm going to recite it before Fajr, and then you don't wake up, and then you feel defeated, and then you make another intention for the next day that I'm going to pray namaz-e-shab. Again, you don't wake up, you feel defeated, and then that feeling of namaz-e-shab wanes and drains from you, and then namaz-e-shab is left for another 6 months, for example. Another year goes by, you're still not reciting it, you're waiting for the next dose of motivation to come. Leave all that. Just recite it. If it's difficult for you to recite it in the sahar time, recite it after Maghribain, after iftar, after dinner, any time. As long as it's after Maghrib and Isha, you can recite your namaz-e-shab. How many rakats in namaz-e-shab? 11. If 11 is not possible, go to 9. If 9 is not possible, go to 7. 7 is not doable, 5. 5 is not possible, 3. If 3 is not possible, 1. How easy do we want to make our religion? How easy has Allah made our religion? In terms of Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. In terms of connecting with Him, it's very easy. He doesn't ask for much. What do we say in Dua Kumel? Ya Sari'ar Ridha. You are someone who gets pleased very quickly and very easily. I do the smallest thing and you are pleased. It doesn't take much. He's looking for just small gestures in the beginning. Do 1 rakat. 1 rakat. Now in this 1 rakat, we have a method of namaz-e-shab. After Alhamd, 3 calls. Surah Falaq, Surah Nas, and then a kunut. You can't do all these surahs, just do Hamd and Kul, no problem. 1 Kul, suffice. Then you do kunut. Okay, so it's a 1 rakat namaz. Then you do kunut. In kunut, we have lots of du'as, lots of zikrs, 300 this, 300 that. You can't do it? No problem. Just say Subhanallah. Say Salawat. Say whatever you want. Say Allahu Akbar. Less than a second it will take you to say Allahu Akbar in your kunut. And then finish your namaz as normal. When you start this practice, when you start this nighttime vigil, when you start even the smallest thing, but you do it with some feeling, with some heart, with some concentration, you will see it will work in the other way. So I was saying before that we get motivation, we don't deliver on our motivation, we lose our motivation. This way, it'll go the other way. You'll start with what you may think is a relatively insignificant thing. You'll say 1 rakat. With a short dua, with a short surahs, with a, on the short version of this namaz, start it. After a week, you'll say, you know what? This is easy. 1 rakat is not enough. Now I want to pray 3. After another week, you'll say, I want to pray 5. After another week, you'll say 7, 9, 11. And you'll start adding to it more and more. Today, for example, someone may think, I can't do this. This is too difficult. Believe me, the day you start, after 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, you'll say, how was I not doing this? This is so easy. Like anything in life. Once you start a practice, once you actually do it, you'll find that it's not so difficult. The same thing applies in the rest of our life. Someone pushes us into the deep end of something. At work, for example, you're told, do this. You'll tell your boss, but I've never done this before. He'll say, just try. Try. It's not the end of the world. You make a mistake, okay, we'll correct you. It's not a big deal. And you try. And then what happens after 6 months? Now you're the boss of that. Now you're controlling that. Now it's very easy. It was just a mental block you had. In life, you want to get fitter, more stamina, get better at a sport, for example. The first time you'll try that sport, you'll say, oh my God, this is embarrassing. I'm hopeless at this. I can't even hit a ball. I can't even kick the ball. I can't do anything. After 1 year, 6 months, whatever, you'll be very good at it. Why not? The same applies to Islamic things. Our main issue is we do not start these deeds. We think Allah is reserved for certain people. We think this is the work of the imams, or this is the work of the maraja, or this is the work of the ayatullahs. We can't do this. No, this is for everybody. Everyone is expected to do this. Islam wants everyone to be able to do this. وَمِنَ اللَّيْلِ فَتَحَجَّدْ Quran says, as for the night, keep a vigil for part of the night. What will happen? نَافِلَةً بِهِ نَافِلَةً لَكَ عَسَىٰ أَن يَبْعَثَكَ رَبُّكَ مَقَامًا مَحْمُودًا. It may be that you persist in this, your Lord will raise you to maqam mahmud, a praiseworthy station, in which you will be praiseworthy. Your station will be praiseworthy. Why? How? Because of your nighttime worship and your nighttime vigils. Because of your namaz-e-shab. When Allama Tabatabai, he went to Najaf all those years ago in his blessed life, he felt he needed some kind of spiritual boost. He felt he wanted a teacher. He felt he wanted a mentor with him. He was praying I believe in the haram of Amirul Mu'mineen, saying, oh, my Imam, grant me this success that I can start my ibadat in your path and reach something special that you would be happy with, that Allah would be happy with. At that moment, he gets a tap on the shoulder from his teacher, Ayatollah Qazi. And Ayatollah Qazi whispers something in his ear. He says, Pisaram, my son, listen to me. In dunyara mikhai, namaz-e-shab bekhun. Akhirat mikhai, namaz-e-shab bekhun. You want this world? Pray namaz-e-shab. You want the next world? Pray namaz-e-shab. Whatever you want. You want sukoon in your life? You can't sleep at night? Your problems are too many? You have these issues, you have these anxieties, you have these worries? Namaz-e-shab. It is something out of this world. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. People, times are tough. Economically, times are tough. Throughout the world, prices are going up, costs are going up, cost of living is going up. People often ask, what is the solution? For example, does Islam have an economic solution? This is now the next stage of the discussion which I want to move on to. In Ramzan, this is going to be a little bit difficult, I understand that. So let's think about after Ramzan what we can do. In Ramzan, this is going to be difficult. Because in Ramzan, typically what we do is we have very late nights. We may go for a very quick, short sleep, wake up again for daku, pray and then sleep again. Typically in Ramzan, this is what we do. So let's talk about after Ramzan. After Ramzan, there is another part of the night. This is called Bayne Tulu'ain, between the two risings of the sun. Which are these two risings of the sun? One is Tulu'e Fajr, meaning the time of Fajr. So let's say we are awake during Sahar time, half an hour, 1 hour, whatever it is, before Fajr. Then we have Fajr time, so we pray our namaz. Then what happens? We have the Bayne Tulu'ain time. This is a very another special time, between the time of Fajr and the time of Qaza of Fajr. Beginning of Fajr, end of Fajr, when the sun rises. This is known as Bayne Tulu'ain. People often ask, what do we do to increase our rizq and barakat? What can we do to increase our income, to relieve our economic difficulties? One of the secrets is, do not be asleep at this time of Bayne Tulu'ain. Why? This is the time in which Allah distributes His rizq amongst His creation. Hadith says the following: Innal malaika, the angels, tuqassimu arzaka bani Adam ma bayna tulu'il fajri ila tulu'il shams. The angels are ordered to go and distribute the rizq of human beings, Bani Adam, between the time of Fajr and the rising of the sun. فَمَنْ نَامَ بَيْنَهُمَا, if someone is to sleep in this time, نَامَ عَنْ رِزْقِهِ, he will sleep whilst missing his distribution of rizq. Rizq is very important. We have different types of rizq. You want spiritual rizq, it is at this time. You want economic rizq, it is at this time. You want knowledge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is at this time. You want wisdom, for example, it could be distributed at this time. All of these gifts from Allah are reserved for these special times. These are not easy times. These are the times when we love sleeping more. These are the times when we're typically in bed. This is why these times are special, because you have to work a little bit hard. But the rewards are immeasurable. The rewards are really fantastic. So the takeaway practical point of today is, whether in Ramadan over the next few nights, or even after Ramadan, we have to look a little bit at our sleeping patterns, to sleep a bit sensibly, to sleep in a good way, to sleep in a way that we can wake up at these times, to maybe set the alarms in a certain way, to maybe ask people to wake us up. To do this and then wake up at these times will have a lot of benefits, especially on these Shab-e Qadr, these nights of Qadr. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now, as for Shab-e Qadr, which is inshallah this night and the other nights to come, Shab-e Qadr itself is very special. It is that time that Allah gives us in which we can completely change our lives 180 degrees, completely reform ourselves. Shab-e Qadr is khayrum min alfi shahr, better than 1,000 months. In other words, one night can be equal to a whole lifetime. In its sawab, in its impact, in its effect, in its power upon you. However, if you properly engage with Shab-e Qadr, this is a very big if. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا Laylatul Qadr. What will make you perceive and realize what is the night of Qadr? This perception and realization, adraka, is very important. It could be that someone like me is awake on Shab-e Qadr, but okay, I get a bit of the mercy of God and I get a bit of His forgiveness and I get a bit of my du'as answered, but I haven't properly engaged with this night. I'm doing other things, my mind is somewhere else, I'm not concentrating, my heart is preoccupied, I've got so many things on my mind, I'm a bit lazy, I waste time, I flick through my phone. Those golden moments may never, we don't know, me and you, are we even going to be alive till the next Shab-e Qadr in 2 days' time? Who has guaranteed our life? We don't know. Are we then going to be alive again till the 23rd night? We don't know. Are we going to see through this night? We don't know. Every moment of these nights is special. Rasulullah in his khutbah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala. He says, Sa'atuhu afdalu sa'at, ayyamuhu afdalul ayyam, wa layalihi afdalul layali. This month is coming. Its moments are the best of moments. Its days are the best of days. Its nights are the best of nights. In other words, don't waste time in these nights. You get tired. We are not robots. We can't sit on the musalla for hours on end. You get tired. Do zikr in another way. Sit somewhere else. Sit up on a chair. Sit on your sofa, whatever it may be. But don't waste the time. Look at every moment. What are you thinking about? What are you saying? Can you do zikr? Can you recite a surah? You can't recite the long surahs of the Quran. Don't. Recite the short ones. You can't recite big portions of the Quran. Recite short portions, no problem. You know one surah which is deep in your heart and you enjoy it more, recite it again and again. But don't leave these moments empty of the remembrance of Allah. Why? Because tanazzalul malaika. Angels are descending. They are looking for opportunities to give us the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are looking for the attentive heart and the attentive mind. Where is that person? Who is that person that has opened his heart for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? It is their job on this night. One of the other meanings of Qadr, there are around 5 different meanings of Qadr. One of them is that there is a shortage of space on the earth on this night. Why? What do you mean shortage of space? Here, mashallah, we have a lot of space. Where is the shortage of space? The angels are here in such multitudes. It is as if they've filled the whole of the earth with their presence and there's no space left. That is how much spirituality is descending upon the earth in these nights. The main significance of these nights is nuzul of Quran, the revelation of the Holy Quran. As much as you can, make a connection with the Holy Quran. When we do the Amaal just now, I'm sure we'll be told about the significance of the Quran, opening the Quran, placing it on our heads. These all have secrets. Then we are done here in an hour or so, whatever it is. Hour or two we are done here. Then what do? Continue. Think about the Quran. What is your relationship with the Quran? Does it play a role in your life? How much of a role? Is it significant? Do you spend your time thinking about it? Do you have a relationship with the Holy Quran? Depending on your relationship with the Holy Quran, this night will be very, very special. The other thing related to this night, of course, is the commemoration of what happened to our beloved Mawla, our Master Amirul Mu'mineen. Sallallahu alayka ya Abul Hasan, ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. During his khutbah in the month of Sha'ban, Rasulullah tells the people about all the different aspects of this month. At one point he mentions so many different things. He mentions about iftar, he mentions about praying, he mentions about dua, he mentions about all of these different things. At one point Amirul Mu'mineen stands and asks a question. He says, Ya Rasulullah, what is the best of deeds in this month? Rasulullah answers him. He says, Ya Abul Hasan, afdalul a'mal fi hadha shahr al-wara an maharimillah. To abstain from sins is the best of deeds in this month. And then all of a sudden Rasulullah begins to cry. Thumma baka. He cries. He cries by looking at the face of Amirul Mu'mineen. Amirul Mu'mineen says, Ya Rasulallah, what has made you cry all of a sudden? Rasulullah says, Ya Abul Hasan ka'anni. It is as if I see myself with you on that night in Kufa. You will be standing in prayer and all of a sudden you will be struck on your blessed head with the sword and your blood will run from your head onto your beard will become red. This month of Ramadan for Amirul Mu'mineen was different. Azadaran of Imam Hussein, Azadaran of Amirul Mu'mineen. This month of Ramadan for Amirul Mu'mineen was different. In this month, Amirul Mu'mineen begins to eat very less. He begins to contemplate more. He's always seen meditating, contemplating, thinking deeply. On this night, he is the guest of his daughter, Bibi Kulthum, for iftar. Janabi Kulthum, she narrates that I placed before my father a very simple iftar. I said, Baba Jan, this is for you. A glass of milk, a piece of bread and some salt. Amirul Mu'mineen looks at his daughter and says, my dear daughter, since when have you ever seen that I have 3 items on my table to eat? Have you ever seen me having more than 2 items? Never. I request you to pick one up. She says, I tried to pick up the salt, the most basic and the most simple of the 3. He held my hand and he said, no, take away the milk, leave the bread and leave the salt. He takes his food, he retires into his room, he performs his ibadat. Our imams, all of them were shuhada, all of them were shaheed. 2 of them, we say, were struck by the sword. The rest were poisoned, but I will tell you, no, I don't agree with this. Amirul Mu'mineen was not just struck by the sword. He was struck by the sword and he was poisoned. Ibn Muljim says, this sword of mine, I have sharpened it for 40 days and 40 nights. And I have poisoned it, I have dipped it in poison for 40 days and 40 nights. When Imam is struck, he is not just struck with a sword, he is struck with poison as well. They say Amirul Mu'mineen was in the mihrab of Masjid Kufa. As he says his prayers, he goes into sujood. Ibn Muljim comes forth. He unsheaths this sharp poison sword. He brings it down on the blessed head of Amirul Mu'mineen. They say at that time, Amirul Mu'mineen states the following. He says, Fustu wa Rabbil Kaaba. Now I have attained success by the Lord of the Kaaba. All of a sudden, Amirul Mu'mineen is seen. He takes the soil and the mud from the floor of the mihrab and he begins to put it onto his blessed head. They say that so much blood was spilled of this holy personality. It was as if a fountain had been opened inside the mihrab of Masjid Kufa. All of a sudden, he cannot balance himself. He falls back. Imam Hassan rushes forward. Imam Hassan catches his father. The head of Amirul Mu'mineen is in the lap of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. Imam Hassan cannot control his tears at this point. His tears begin to stream down his face. The tears land on the blessed face of Amir al-Mu'mineen. When Amir al-Mu'mineen feels the tears of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, he opens his eyes. He gives strength to Imam Hassan. Imagine the character of this man. He has been struck, but he looks at his son and says, "Oh Hassan, do not grieve, do not cry, have sabr, be strong. These things happen." He's giving more courage and strength to his son. They bring Ibn Muljim in front of Amir al-Mu'mineen. They say, "This is the one that has struck you, O Mawla." Mawla asks a simple question to Ibn Muljim. Mawla says, "Ibn Muljim, tell me, was I not a good imam for you that you had to strike me in this way?" Amir al-Mu'mineen looks at Ibn Muljim. He sees Ibn Muljim's hands are bound. He says, "Loosen the binds. Allow him use of his hands. Give him something to drink. Let him be comfortable." Ya Ali, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, we cannot but help picture the scenes in Karbala where your daughter is bound and your children are denied water, and Zainab is bound and Imam Sajjad is bound and they are denied water. Amir al-Mu'mineen says, "After I leave this world, if I am to die from this, he struck me with one blow. If you are to strike him, you also strike him with one blow only. Do not mutilate him. Do not disrespect the body. Do not do anything like that. We have outlawed that in Islam. Strike him with one blow alone." Amirul Mu'mineen, we say one thing. We say, "Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah." How did they treat you, O Hussein, in Karbala? After Hussein is beheaded, Hussein's body is on the floor. All of a sudden, Bibi Zainab, she looks at one moment to Imam Sajjad. They hear a noise outside. They think people are smashing glass bottles or something like that. They hear the smashing of glass. When they look outside, it is not the smashing of glass. The horses are being made to ride upon the body of Abu Abdullah again and again. This was the noise of the bones of Imam Hussein alayhi salam being shattered. Allah la'natullah al-qawm al-zalimeen wa sayalamu alladhina zalamu ayya munqalibin yanqalibun matame Hussein.
Wa Muhammada wa musibata wa Muhammada wa musibata sajde mein hua qatl murtaza din ka situn aaj gir pada sajde mein hua qatl murtaza wa Muhammada wa musibata wa Muhammada سجدے میں ہوا قتل زینب ہنسی غش میں ہے پڑی بی بی آسبی روتی ہے کھڑی زینب ہنسی غش میں ہے پڑی بی بی آسبی روتی ہے کھڑی وا محمدہ کی ان سے یہ صدا سجدے میں ہوا قتل مرتضیٰ وا محمدہ وا مصیبتہ وا مصیبتہ سجدے میں بے پدر ہوئے سبط نبی روتے ہیں ملک انبیاء سبھی بے پدر ہوئے انبیاء نبی روتے ہیں ملک انبیاء سبھی ماتم علی ان میں ہے صدا سجدے میں ہوا وا محمدا وا مصیبتا وا مصیبتا سجدے میں ہوا زلزلے میں ہے قبر مصطفیٰ کانپتی ہے آج لحد فاطمہ زلزلے میں ہے قبر مصطفیٰ کانپتی ہے آج لحد فاطمہ اہل آسماں کرتے ہے خدا سجدے میں ہوا وا محمدا وا محمدا وا مصیبتا سجدے میں شور شین ہے آج جہان میں آندھی ہے چلی آج کوفے میں شور شین ہے آج جہان میں آندھی ہے چلی آج کوفے میں جبرائیل کی آتی ہے صدا سجدے میں ہوا مرتضیٰ وا محمدا وا مصیبتا وا محمدا سجدے میں ہوا قتل مرتضیٰ وا محمدا وا مصیبتا وا محمدا وا مصیبتا سجدے میں ہوا نادے علی علی یا علی نادے علی علی یا علی نادے علی علی یا علی बादशाह जिन्नो बसर या अली या अली साहिब शमशीर दो सर या अली अलियन या अली यावर महबूब खुदा या अली नादे अलियन अलियन या अली और मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सलवात सूरत मुबारकत अल-फातिहा.
Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. I'd like to just a couple of quick little announcements, inshallah. After right now, when we finish, we'll start immediately with the Amaal as we set up the audio over here, up here. We'll recite Ziyarat at the very end. We'll recite Ziyarat of Imam Hussein and Laylatul Qadr at the very end, inshallah. But earlier today, we recited Surah Yasin, and we'd like to remember a few of the marhum, of the families, from all of our families, but especially if we can remember marhum Muhammad Hussein and marhuma Fatma Bai Khalfan, and marhum Hassan Ali and marhuma Khadija Bai Saleh Muhammad, Fatima Adat, Zainab Bata, and marhuma Farhana Bata, as well as marhuma Gulbanu Sharif Hassan, Turab Hussein Nanji, Rubab Adam Ali Halai, Karim Bai Adamji, marhum Murtaza Haji, marhuma Farida and Sheni Haji, marhuma Zarina Inayatullah, marhuma Munira Habib, and marhuma Nurbanu Wali Muhammad, and marhuma Kani Sangji, as well as all of the marhumin from all of our families with Surah Al-Mubarakatil Fatiha. Inshallah, we'll begin the Amaal. If you need a couple of minutes to prepare or do wudu, anything of that sort, I would suggest and ask if you do that right now. We're setting up the audio up front here for the Amaal, and we'll begin immediately thereafter, inshallah. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. What is it?
For those with wudu,
Yeah, start that.
you can start 2 rakat, Surah Al-Hamd 7 times Qul Allah, first and second single.
Get started with the namaz. There's a 2 rakat namaz for Laylatul Qadr. In first, each rakat Surah Al-Hamd and 7 times Surah Ikhlas for niyat of Shab-e-Qadr. If you'd like to get started with that, as the others are still doing wudu and getting prepared, but we will give time for everybody to recite that too, inshallah. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. We're about to begin the Amaal. For those of us that haven't completed the namaz, if we can complete the namaz, we'll just give a couple more minutes inshallah and then we'll get started. On this night, 5 more minutes inshallah. Let's remember each other in these Amaals inshallah. As the Shaykh mentioned earlier, is our opportunity to once again strengthen our bond with Allah, tighten our connection, and inshallah may Allah accept all of our du'as. If there's somebody that has any sadaqah or anything to donate, there is a family that is in need. So if anybody has anything on them that they'd like to donate right now, please let me know. There's a family in need with a young child that needs some support. So if anybody can do that, inshallah. Okay, thank you. Inshallah, we'll get started in a couple more minutes.
Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. Before we start the Amaal, let us remember all our brothers and sisters who were with us last year, who are no longer with us. And also let us remember all those who are going through so much difficulties around the world. May Allah Ta'ala help them, inshallah, with all the difficulties, particularly our brothers and sisters in Palestine, in Yemen, in Iraq, in Pakistan, in Bahrain, and we can go on and on and on. Let us not forget them, inshallah. Let us also open this Amaal by forgiving each other, and let us recite Surah Fatiha for all Kul Mu'mineen wal Minat, all Muslimeen wal Muslimat before we start. Surah Al-Mubarakat Al-Fatiha. I would humbly ask every one of you, when we recite, let us all recite together, loudly, so that these walls can also hear on this 19th night. So we will start by reciting 17 times, Astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayh, and then we will recite 100 times, Astaghfirullah Rabbi wa atubu ilayh, and then we will recite 100 times, Allahumma lan qatalat Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. So we'll start with Astaghfirullah Rabbi wa atubu ilayh 70 times, and let us all join in together and recite. Ahsant.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أستغفر الله وأتوب إليه. 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 أستغفر الله وأتوب إليه 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 أستغفر الله وأتوب إليك 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 أستغفر الله وأتوب إليك
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه 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 اللهم صل على محمد.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We will now recite 100 times Allahumma al-an qatalat Amir al-Mu'mineen, which means Allah condemn and curse the killers of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Let's all recite together. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma al-an qatalat Amir al-Mu'mineen. Allahumma al-an qatalat Amir al-Mu'mineen. Allahumma al-an qatalat Amir al-Mu'mineen. اللهم العن قتلة أمير المؤمنين 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 اللهم القتلة أمير المؤمنين اللهم عن قتلة أمير المؤمنين اللهم العن 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 قتلة أمير المؤمنين اللهم صل
Mu'mineen, now we are going to proceed for the Amaal of the Holy Quran. The first thing we do is to open the Holy Quran in front of us. This is a symbolic gesture because the Quran has come for our guidance. If ever you were to summarize what is the role of the Quran, why has it been revealed, it is for guidance. The fact is that to be guided by it, you must read it, you must recite it, then you must reflect upon it, and then you must put it into action. Here on this night of Qadr, we are showing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, oh Allah, Give us tawfiq to have our lives governed by the Holy Quran. O Allah, this Quran is very important to us. Allow us to be inspired by the Holy Quran. Illuminate our hearts by the Holy Quran. Give us the tawfiq to reflect upon the verses of the Holy Quran. Give us the strength to put the verses into action in our lives. With this we will proceed on to the dua.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم إني أسألك بكتابك المنزل وما فيه وفيه اسمائك الأكبر واسماؤك الحسنى وما يخاف ويرجى أن تجعلني من عتقائك من النار حاجات. اللهم بحق هذا القرآن وبحق من أرسلته به وبحق كل keep the Quran please on your head. اللهم بحق هذا القرآن وبحق من أرسلته به وبحق كل مؤمن مدحت فيه وبحقك عليهم فلا أحد أعرف بحقك منك. بك يا الله 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 بمحمد 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 بعلي 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 بفاطمة 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 عليه السلام بالحسن 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 عليه السلام بالحسين 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 عليه السلام بعلي بن الحسين 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 عليه السلام بمحمد بن علي 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 بمحمد بن علي
بمحمد بن علي بمحمد بن علي عليه السلام بجعفر بن محمد 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 عليه السلام بموسى بن جعفر 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 عليه السلام بعلي بن الموسى 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 عليه السلام بمحمد بن علي 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 عليه السلام بعلي بن المحمد 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 عليه السلام بالحسن بن علي 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 عليه السلام بالحجة القائم 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 عليه السلام. حاجات يا ربي يا ربي يا ربي.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إني أمسيت لك عبدا داخرا لا أملك لنفسي نفعا ولا ضرا ولا أصرف عنها سوءا. أشهد بذلك على نفسي
وأعترف لك بضعف قوتي وقلة حيلتي، فصل على محمد وآل محمد وأنجز لي ما وعدتني وجميع المؤمنين والمؤمنات من المغفرة في هذه الليلة، وأتمم علي ما آتيتني، فإني عبدك المسكين المستكين الضعيف الفقير المهين. اللهم لا تجعلني ناسيا لذكرك فيما أوليتني، ولا لإحسانك فيما أعطيتني، ولا آيسا من إجابتك وإن أبطأت عني في سراء أو ضراء أو شدة أو رخاء أو عافية أو بلاء أو بؤس أو نعماء، إنك سميع الدعاء. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم اجعل فيما تقضي وتقدر من الأمر المحتوم وفيما تفرق من الأمر الحكيم في ليلة القدر وفي القضاء الذي لا يرد ولا يبدل أن تكتبني من حجاج بيتك الحرام المبرور حجهم، المشكور سعيهم، المغفور ذنوبهم، المكفر عنهم سيئاتهم. واجعل فيما تقضي وتقدر أن تطيل عمري وتوسع علي في رزقي وتفعل بي حاجات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم ارزقنا توفيق الطاعة وبعد المعصية وصدق النية وعرفان الحرمة، وأكرمنا بالهدى والاستقامة، وسدد ألسنتنا بالصواب والحكمة، واملأ قلوبنا بالعلم والمعرفة، وطهر بطوننا من الحرام والشبهة، واكفف أيدينا عن الظلم والسرقة، واغضض أبصارنا عن الفجور والخيانة، واسدد أسماعنا عن اللغو والغيبة، وتفضل على علمائنا بالزهد والنصيحة، وعلى المتعلمين بالجهد والرغبة، وعلى المستمعين بالاتباع والموعظة، وعلى مرضى المسلمين بالشفاء والراحة، وعلى موتاهم بالرأفة والرحمة، وعلى مشايخنا بالوقار والسكينة، وعلى الشباب بالإنابة والتوبة، وعلى النساء بالحياء والعفة، وعلى الأغنياء بالتواضع والسعة، وعلى الفقراء بالصبر والقناعة، وعلى الغزاة بالنصر والغلبة، وعلى الأسراء بالخلاص والراحة، وعلى الأمراء بالعدل والشفقة، وعلى الرعية بالإنساف وحسن السيرة، وبارك للحجاج والزوار في الزاد والنفقة، واقض ما أوجبت عليهم من الحج والعمرة بفضلك ورحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. حاجات.
We will now recite. We'll recite Munajat of Imam Ali, and then we will end with Ziyarat of Imam Hussein.
بل محمد وآل محمد صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إني أسألك الأمان لا ينفع مال ولا بنون إلا من أتى الله بقلب سليم. واسألك الأمان يوم يعض الظالم على يديه يقول يا ليتني اتخذت مع الرسول سبيلا. واسألك الأمان يوم يعرف المجرمون بسيماهم فيؤخذ بالنواصي والأقدام. واسألك الأمان يوم لا يجزي والد عن ولده ولا مولود هو جاز عن والده شيئا. إن وعد الله حق. واسألك الأمان يوم لا ينفع الظالمين معذرتهم ولهم لعنة ولهم سوء الدار. واسألك الأمان يوم لا تملك نفس لنفس شيئا. واسألك الأمان يفر المرء من أخيه وأمه وأبيه وصاحبته لكل امرئ يومئذ شأن يغنيه. واسألك الأمان أو لو يفتدي من عذاب يومئذ وصاحبتي وأخي وفصيلتي التي تؤوي ومن في الأرض جميعا ثم ينجي كلا إنها لظى نذرة للشوى مولاي يا مولاي أنت المولى وأنا العبد ويرحم العبد إلا المولى مولاي يا مولاي أنت المالك وأنا المملوك وهل يرحم المملوك إلا المالك مولاي يا مولاي أنت العزيز وأنا الذليل وهل يرحم الذليل إلا العزيز مولاي يا مولاي أنت الخالق وأنا المخلوق وهل يرحم المخلوق إلا الخالق مولاي يا مولاي أنت العظيم وأنا الحقير وهل يرحم الحقير إلا العظيم مولاي يا مولاي أنت القوي وأنا الضعيف وهل يرحم الضعيف إلا القوي مولاي يا مولاي أنت الغني وأنا الفقير وهل يرحم الفقير إلا الغني مولاي يا مولاي أنت المطيب وأنا السائل وهل يرحم السائل إلا المطيب مولاي يا مولاي أنت الحي وأنا الميت وهل يرحم الميت إلا الحي مولاي يا أنت الدائم وأنا الزائل وهل يرحم الزائل إلا الدائم مولاي يا مولاي أنت الرازق وأنا المرزوق وهل يرحم المرزوق إلا الرازق مولاي يا مولاي أنت الجواد وأنا البخيل وهل يرحم البخيل إلا الجواد مولاي يا مولاي أنت المعافي وأنا المبتلى وهل يرحم المبتلى إلا المعافي مولاي يا مولاي أنت الكبير وأنا الصغير وهل يرحم الصغير إلا الكبير مولاي يا مولاي أنت الهادي وأنا الضال وهل يرحم الضال إلا الهادي مولاي يا مولاي أنت الرحمن وأنا المرحوم وهل يرحم المرحوم إلا الرحمن مولاي يا مولاي أنت السلطان وأنا الممتحن وهل يرحم الممتحن إلا السلطان مولاي يا مولاي أنت الدليل وأنا المتحير وهل يرحم المتحير إلا الدليل مولاي يا مولاي أنت الغفور وأنا المذنب وهل يرحم المذنب إلا الغفور مولاي يا مولاي أنت الغالب أنت الغالب وأنا المغلوب وهل يرحم المغلوب إلا الغالب مولاي يا مولاي أنت الرب وأنا المربوب وهل يرحم المربوب إلا الرب مولاي يا مولاي أنت المتكبر وأنا الخاشع وهل يرحم الخاشع إلا المتكبر مولاي يا مولاي ارحمني برحمتك وارض عني بجودك وكرمك وفضلك يا ذا الجود والإحسان والطول والامتنان برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
بسم الله الرحمن محمد. السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا ابن الصديقة الطاهرة فاطمة السيدة النساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا مولاي يا أبا ورحمة الله وبركاته. أشهد أنك قد أقمت الصلاة وآتيت الزكاة وأمرت بالمعروف ونهيت عن المنكر وتلوت الكتاب حق تلاوته وجاهدت في الله حق جهاده وصبرت على الأذى في جنبه محتسبا حتى أتاك اليقين. أشهد أن الذين خالفوك وحاربوك والذين خذلوك قتلوك ملعون وقد خاب من افترى. لعن الله الظالمين لكم من الأولين والآخرين وضاعف عليهم العذاب العليم. أتيتك يا مولاي يا ابن رسول الله زاهرا عارفا بحقك أوليائك معاديا لأعدائك مستبصرا بالهدى الذي أنت عليه عارفا بالضلالة من خالفك فاشفع لي عند ربك. السلام عليك يا حجة الله في أرضه وسمائه. صلى الله على روحك الطيب وجسدك الطاهر. وعليك السلام يا مولاي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولاي وابن مولاي ورحمة الله وبركاته. لعن الله من ظلمك ولعن الله من قتلك وضاعف عليهم العذاب العليم. السلام عليكم أيها الصديقون. السلام عليكم أيها الشهداء الصابرون. أشهد أنكم جاهدتم في سبيل الله وصبرتم على الأذى في جنب الله ونصحتم لله ولرسوله حتى أتاكم اليقين. أشهد أنكم أحياء عند ربكم ترزقون. فجزاكم الله عن الإسلام وأهله أفضل جزاء المحسنين وجمع بيننا وبينكم في محل النعيم. السلام عليك أيها العبد الصالح المطيع الله ولرسوله. أشهد أنك قد جاهدت ونصحت وصبرت حتى أتاك اليقين. لعن الله الظالمين لكم من الأولين والآخرين وألحقهم بدرك الجحيم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء. السلطان بالحسن مولانا علي بن موسى الرضا كن شفيعنا وشفيع والدينا في يوم الجزاء ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان سيدي الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان. السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان. السلام عليك يا إمامنا وإمام الإنس والجان. أنجنا الله لا ما وعدك من النصر وظهور الأمر ورحمة الله وبركاته.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم قويك حجتنا الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا مناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوى وتؤتيه فيها طويلا رحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. So 2 rakat recommended for ziyarat, hadith ziyarat inshallah. Inshallah, we'll meet again tomorrow night for the continuation of the program. with Shaikh Abbas Ismail. The program email contains all the details, but inshallah we'll meet again tomorrow as well, inshallah.